packet. And there's no one here from Oak Hills, as I understand it. Apparently, Joe Androsco is not receiving invites, and he's usually the one that summarizes this stuff pretty well. The person that did receive the invite is not available, as I understand it, and the other two members of the board are had other plans. So, unless there are any questions about that, I think the statement that was provided in our packet sort of speaks for itself. I think we reviewed it last time. Is there anything else that we'd like to go over? The year-to-date capital budget report and operating expense report. Henry, is that something that you want to go over? Or?
I thought.
Sorry, go ahead, Henry.
Maybe no.
Are there any questions about those items? I didn't really look at them, but if there's a summary that we can, that you guys are prepared to give us, that's fine. If not, I think there's really not much that we need to discuss at this meeting.
Can we get copies of the audit report?
We got, I think we got capital budget expenditure for September 2022, the operating.
I'm talking about the audit report that was done for the authority. Or does Henry get that? Henry, do you get that?
Which is this for the Oak Hills?
Oak Hills?
Yeah, we got the August 22 financial thing.
No. The audit report that was done.
Oh, I didn't know there was one done.
No, I haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
You had,
I mean, I don't know whether it was given, whether they circulated or not. I don't know how that works.
Well, do they have a June 30 year end?
I believe so, yeah.
If they have a June 30 year end, the audit report may not be finished yet. We have a June 30 and we don't get it out until usually December. I would think Oak Hills can do it faster, but it may not be ready. But we should ask them, Tom, for the next.
yeah, I got you.
I would also add, it gets me in trouble, but I'm going to add it. Now that we have a full complement in the budget department with Tom and Agnes, we are looking at circulating budget versus actual reports to the departments every quarter. We're going to start with every quarter. Maybe one day we'll get to the promised land of every month. And we're hoping to do this in late October. So we'll have the first quarter of fiscal 23, which is July through September of 22. We'll have budget, we'll have actual, and any material variance, positive or negative, they have to explain. It'll go to every department head, it'll go to every chief. And this way, Tom and Agnes could be on top of variances much faster and focus on the real issues. And if we do that quarter by quarter for the first 3 quarters, and maybe we do it monthly for the end of the year, to me, it's like landing the lunar module. You get closer and closer, you find out which is the timing difference, what's a real substantive issue, how are you going to fix it if you're spending more than you should, do you need a special appropriation and why? And I think it just gives us a better handle on what's actually going on. So we're looking at circulating that, let's say the 3rd week of October, call it the 21st, the 25th, and at the same time, we're hoping to circulate the pro forma budget packages for fiscal year 24. So it ties it in a nice circle that said, here's your pro forma, what I said before, 2 years of actual, 1 year projection, here are the numbers, and we're going to give you some guidance on what we think some of those numbers should be, and then you come back and request. But at the same time, here's how we're going to monitor you during the year, budget versus actual. Take a look, and this forces the department heads and the chiefs to get to know their numbers better, what's really going on operationally, and that they can stay on top of the things. So we don't just wait till the 4th quarter and say, oops, we have a problem.
And it also, in some ways, encourage department heads to spend their money that they perhaps were not.
No, we never want to spend money if they don't want to spend it.
Yeah.
I don't think, it doesn't burn a hole in my pocket.
Right.
If anything, I go with James's approach, which says, Oh, doesn't look like you really need that. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
but I'm saying
remember
just
that
to
one.
keep on top of them like that might actually make them realize, oh, I'm not spending this bucket over here. Maybe I should, that kind of thing.
Well,
But I don't think that's what we want to convey to them, that,
No,
you've got
I
this
know
money
that's
and
not what I
you're
want to
running out
convey
of
to them.
time. It doesn't go bad. I mean, the
I
whole
mean, I know
idea
that
of
we want
this is that
to,
you spend only what you need.
I know that we don't want to convey that to them. I'm just saying that unwittingly, that you might um, alert them. And I'm not saying that's not a bad idea to do this anyway, but you might alert department heads that they're not spending this bucket over here, and maybe they should, because what's it doing there?
right. And I'll tell you what we have found where maybe they thought they could just spend it later in the year. Then there were supply chain issues. So if they have a positive variance very early, it should be what's going on. Did you not spend it? Did you change your specs? Are you having problems with suppliers? The key is the numbers are an indicator to get us underneath the numbers to find out what's really going on operationally. And I think it's just a healthy phenomenon. And now that we have the staff, we could have the line people do the research, tell us what's going on, and we become more knowledgeable, which can only inform us and help us as we do the budget for the next year.
I think it's really important that when you're doing the budget, that you understand the operations of that particular department. You can't, if you don't, if you and Tom don't have a good handle on what the operations are all about, whether they've got good internal controls, whether they got smooth running operations, then it's a waste of time to even give them the money that they're asking for.
Well, we try to do better year by year. And I think with Agnes on the team, it gives us the resources to push and probe and to do more analytical work rather just compiling numbers and printing reports. And that's the next level that we're trying to introduce. So now Tom's target is public, and we're going to have to meet that in late October. But I think it's really going to be a very healthy tool. And again, the better the department heads and the chiefs are about their operations and knowledgeable about those variances, then the better the whole place will run.
Amen, brother.
Anything else?
We have Lisa B on to discuss tax collection in the narrative, if
Okay.
you guys are up for it.
There she is.
Hi, can you
Lisa.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't take too much of your time, but I bring you glad tidings of positive tax collections for the end of the prior fiscal year. So maybe I can end your evening on a happy note, because I'm actually looking back to our end of August numbers. We haven't provided our numbers for the end of September. We had a tough time closing out the month. Our debit machines weren't working. And last Friday was a tough day. So we don't have September numbers for you, but I do have August numbers for you. And with regard to, I'll do current collections first and then prior. As of the end of August, we were at 52.82% of the current levy, which was really right where we needed to be. But in terms of the prior year, with the 60-day collections added in, on the immediately prior grand list year, we were at 99.51% of our levy, which we thought was excellent. I will say that part of that was because the levy was reduced due to court stipulated judgments with assessment appeals. So the levy did go down significantly. And by significantly, I mean more than $5 million. That was money that we had to credit back to people who had already paid it. But the numbers are the numbers, and the collection rate is what it is. We're going with our net collectible levy, and we hit 99.51%. We were at 99.3 as of the end of July, and August bumped it up a wee bit more. So that's really useful information for the CFO and his team when he's doing his bond presentations and things like that. And we wanted to share the good news with you. The collection period went well. We are still shorthanded in my division. We're short 2 people. So we're operating with a staff of 6 rather than 8, but I'm working on that. But all things considered, things are going relatively well, and we're actually looking ahead to when we're going to be doing our second installment billing next month. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
I don't know, it's, every time I listen to you, I can't imagine how you pull this off all the time. It's like a miracle.
It's magic.
It's got to be magic.
It's
People have-
hard work is what it is. It's hard work.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Lisa, it is concerning that you're seeing more of those fraud checks, that people are stealing the checks that are made out to you, and you know, I guess they're getting them out of the mailboxes, or
Yeah. What's happening, we're coming across a little bit more of it now too, because we sent delinquent notices in September. So a few more surfaced, but in particular, the Darien post office was hit, and the town of Darien tax collector and us. The taxpayers are seeing their checks that they put in the mail to us stolen from the mail stream, negotiated by a fraudster, because people are now able to cash checks remotely with their phone. And we're finding these checks were altered. The payee was changed, the dollar amount was changed. And in some cases, for example, a check for $400, $500 will be negotiated for $8,000 if the person had the money in their account, boom. And the taxpayer is hit. It's terrible. And we're telling people who call and say, what should I do? You know, we rely on paying by mail for a lot of our bills. I just tell them, be vigilant about your bank statement and ensure that those checks are clearing. Or if failing that, if you want to use the electronic check, the EFT payment, they can go to our website. It's only $1.25 extra. That's how I pay my bills now, is with the electronic check, to ensure that it gets there. But you know, we have to have some responsibility too over our own funds. So people need to check their bank accounts and check their bank statements and ensure that their checks are being cashed by the proper payee, right?
yeah, but
Well,
it's
the
too
checks
late.
in-
It's too late anyway when they see it. So
Were the checks in Darien stolen out of the outside boxes?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
not from people's personal mailboxes
well, both, but
outside their house?
they were saying from outside the Darien post office, people thought it was pretty safe by going directly to the post office to mail, and even that isn't safe. But definitely putting mail in your own individual mailbox in front of your residence and putting the flag up is a very bad idea at this point.
Lisa,
Not recommended.
the box that we have here at City Hall outside, that's one of the newer, I wouldn't say steel proof, but more difficult to steal from, right? The way
It is.
it's very
Mhm.
small to slip in, and it sort of like grabs it and pulls it in, which means you
Right.
can't get your hand or a hook down there, right?
That's exactly correct. That's what
Okay.
they're doing. They're replacing the boxes with a box with a very, very minuscule slit in it. And it's very hard to put something in there and fish something out. But what they do is they put a sticky substance on basically like a fish hook. And they get it in there, and whatever it pulls out, it pulls out. That's what they're doing. So there is still a chance that they could do it, but you're also right in front of City Hall, which is a very visible location. So the likelihood that people would do it is probably less. I haven't heard of anybody mailing it there and having it stolen. And I do use that mailbox myself as well.
So do I.
it's funny, the one in Norwalk, the one on Connecticut Avenue near Stu Leonard's, the one you could drive and deposit your mail. The drive-through has one of those open slots still, which is really weird, because it's
Wow.
right in front of the mail plate, the little post office there. So, and you could see when there's a lot of mail in there, when I mail something, you could see sometimes the mail is literally just sitting right there. Somebody can put
Yes.
their hand in. So I'm shocked that one does not have that small slot yet.
And we should emphasize, for people who are concerned about that, they could always come in physically to the tax collector office And we have, what is it, Lisa, about 10 branches around the city that where you could go to a bank branch and get credit for your payment. So we could do electronically or by phone. We could do it in person at Lisa's office or at the branches. So people are not forced to do the mail. All we could do is give options and warn people. And hopefully they get reimbursed from their banks and wherever if they get defrauded.
That's correct.
And credit cards, Lisa, you don't accept, or you can,
We do. We accept credit cards, debit cards,
there's a fee, a convenience fee, right?
ATM cards. There is a fee if you're paying in person with a debit card, we absorb the fee. It's 10 cents an item, so we absorb it. But if you're paying with a debit card online, there is a fee, a convenience fee because we don't have the security that they do. So again, as the CFO indicated, it's an option. So if an individual does want to pay with that method, they are going to have to pay the fee. And it's the same if you're paying your state income tax or your federal income tax, we have to pay a fee with that as well. We pass that on to the customer.
Righty.
But I
Right.
mean, part of why the collection rate is so high is we do so much enforcement. So I have to reiterate my gratitude to the policymakers and individuals such as yourselves that when you get the complaints from the customers that I couldn't get a building permit, I couldn't get my health permit, I couldn't register my car because the tax collector wanted me to pay my bill. It's all those little transactions, hundreds of transactions over the course of 12 months that contribute toward that rate. And because we don't make exceptions for people and we do charge interest when people are late, that's why that rate is so high. So I'm grateful to everybody who contributes to it behind the scenes. The mayor, the council, folks such as yourselves, our state legislators get these phone calls from people all the time and we do get the backing. So that's part of it as well. And I'm grateful.
But you've trained them. You've trained the taxpayers very well.
It took a long time, didn't it?
All right. Well, thank you for that, Lisa.
Thanks.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Is there any other matter to discuss? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Well, all in favor?
If
I'm
we
just
don't have a
teasing.
quorum to adjourn, do we have?
We don't have a
We have
quorum.
no quorum. We can't adjourn.
That's true. So we're gonna have to be on here until next month.
The mayor should be done with his town hall around 11.
Huh.
All right,
Maybe.
well,
Maybe.
let's break out a bottle of wine and just chat some more.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys.
All right, good night.
Thanks a lot.
Next
Thank
month.
you.
Bye.
Take care.